What is up, creators? This is Tom, welcome back to another video. So after posting this video on my channel, it's actually quite popular. You guys seem to really enjoy and find that video helpful, which I'm super glad about. But I got a couple of comments on that video asking if I could make a similar video, but with more budget conscious options. So today that's what I'm going to be doing. We're going to take it one step further and we are just going to use a smartphone. This is my iPhone XS Max. It's a couple of years old now, but what I'm going to be doing is taking a standard smartphone shot, a video shot like this, taken just on an iPhone. And we'll be going from a shot that looks like this to a shot that looks like this. We're going to change nothing on the phone. It's just going to be the sort of external environment. So if you just have a phone and a few different pieces of equipment in your house, you can create a beautiful looking YouTube setup using just your smartphone. All right, so the first things you're going to need are a smartphone and then some way of connecting your camera or your smartphone camera to a tripod or some form of stabilization. I'm going to use this little accessory here, this little tripod mount. So I already have a tripod and this is just going to slot onto the phone and then mount on top of the tripod. Okay, so when we're working with smartphone video, the first thing, kind of like the most important thing in my opinion, is to move away from the native camera apps. By that I mean like the default iOS camera app or the default Android camera app, and download an app that gives you more manual control over your video. I'm going to be using an app called Moment, and this is a super good app for iPhone. It really does let you control a whole lot or loads more than the native camera app. So most importantly, we can control things like white balance, ISO, resolution, all of the things that are really important for video production. So after downloading Moment, what you're going to want to do is head over to the video functionality. We're going to switch the resolution to film in the highest quality that your camera can do. For me, that's 4K. I'm going to set the white balance to around about 5600 Kelvin, and don't be alarmed if your shot is looking really horrible and orange right now. This will be fixed when we introduce some additional lighting into the shot. We're going to set the frame rate to be 24 frames a second, and we want the shutter speed to be roughly double that. The Moment camera app does let you actually change it to 1/48, so we're going with 1/48. And then the final thing we want to change is the ISO. We can slide that up to be, we want enough light in the shot that it's going to look okay, so right about that sort of like 200 mark should look quite good. And then we're pretty much ready to go. Audio is obviously massively important when we're talking about video production. I'm actually using a studio mic that I will sync when I'm working with an iPhone shot because I just am not a massive fan of having my mic mounted on an iPhone. There are a couple of other options though. You could use a little plug-in microphone that just sits next to your phone, or alternatively, you could use a lapel mic as well. Both of these are really good options. I would definitely recommend checking out some way to control and just have a better source of audio quality. Okay, so lighting is obviously the main proportion, the main way to make this shot go from a really sort of like an ugly looking shot to a shot which is looking really, really nice. And in my last video, I was using more sort of studio equipment, like the equipment or the lighting equipment that I was using is probably going to run you $300 for instance. So we wanted to see whether we could actually really bring that down. And a way of doing that for me anyway, was I thought we could introduce something like this. This is a little LED panel from Newer. It's relatively inexpensive. You can pick something like this up for around about a $50 mark, and it even has bi-color, so this will let you control the temperature of the light. But we're just going to turn that on here. And you can see the sort of level of light that it's giving out, super, super bright, and it is daylight balance. So this is around about that 5600 Kelvin. So this shining on my face in the iPhone shot will look really nice. So I'm going to take this light, mount it on the right-hand side of me, roughly a sort of 45-degree angle. And you can see that that is already making a big, big difference. The colors are looking much nicer, but there is a massive issue, and that is the fact that things are really garish, really, really sort of bright, and creating all kinds of hard, horrible shadows. This is called hard light, and we don't want this. So the next step is that we want to diffuse this light. And there's a few different options that you could even use something as cheap as a bedsheet if you don't want to spend additional money. What I'm actually going to recommend though is that you go and invest in a 5-in-1 reflector. These are super cheap, like $15, and is incredibly versatile and a super useful video production and photography tool. What we're going to use it for is a diffusion filter. So we're going to put this in front of our newer light, and that is really going to soften out the light, really make it just a much more natural and pleasing look. And you can immediately see the difference that we've gone from the original shot to this shot literally just with one light, a big difference. And then finally what we're going to do is introduce some practical lights. You can see them in the back of this shot right here, but we'll introduce that for the iPhone shot as well. So I just have a desk light behind me. We will switch that on. And then the final light, which I'm going to suggest as well, is one of these little RGB lighting panels. Now you definitely don't have to go for something like this because it could literally be, a case of using like another phone or something, just shining an additional something light in the background, or another lamp or something like that. Something which you just have lying around the house for free. But the nice thing about this is RGB controlled. And again, really inexpensive. So we can just have this propped up on a shelf behind me, and that's just adding a bit of visual interest to the background of both of the shots, this shot right here and also the smartphone shot. For the smartphone shot, I'm actually going to turn this blue, so we have a bit of color contrast between the orange and the blue on the shelving there. And there we have it. That is a way to immediately level up your smartphone video, any smartphone video, just by introducing one sort of main key light and turning off additional lights. Really just a way to step up any video production that you're doing in almost like a YouTube setup environment. I hope that you guys have found this useful or helpful. If you've made it to this point in the video, I would thoroughly appreciate it if you drop the video a like, and I'll catch you next time.